Hi everyone, I am here with Laura Shape, who is the founder of the accessories label for Love and Legacy. And she is going to tell us a little bit about how being a member of the startup fashion community has helped her business. So, hi Laura, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your brand?
Sure. My name is Laura, and my brand for Love and Legacy is an accessories line. Currently, I'm only working in belts, but I'm hoping to expand in the future, assuming that's successful, into other areas, jewelry and things like that. A little bit about myself. My first career was in graphic design for print advertising and then internet interaction design. So I worked at probably 10 different startup companies over the course of my career, and finally just got burnt out. I had been doing it for 20 plus years and was just done. And so as a as a hobby on the side, I started sculpting these belt buckles, and I really liked them and I felt cool wearing them, and I got some good feedback, and I was in a good place sort of financially and emotionally to start a new project. So I decided to see if I could spin this into a real company. I had been around enough, I'd worked for enough startup companies in tech that the idea of just getting something off the ground from scratch isn't scary to me, but I hadn't done it myself, and I certainly had no fashion background. So still have a ton to learn, but that's how I've started.
Awesome. That's part of the fun of it, right? All the learning
For
along the
sure,
way.
that's a really big part of the fun of it.
So,
It's
can
all new.
you share why you decided to join Startup Fashion?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, why I decided to join it is not why I have stayed. So that's kind of funny. I initially decided to join it. I think I just joined it in the fourth quarter of last year. And I had set myself up for last year. I'd set myself up, a bunch of goals. At the beginning of the year, I was just an individual artist trying to decide, with like a couple designs, trying to decide how to sell them and what I wanted to do. And so I set myself up, quarterly goals of here's how you become a business. And I got as far as my previous experience, would allow. But I had gotten to the point where I didn't actually know how to set up a business legally. I didn't know what steps to do after that. But I had deluded myself into thinking that I was ready to sell to stores. So the reason I joined Startup Fashion was because you had a list of stores in different cities that were interested in working with independent designers, new upcoming designers. I was like, well, that'll make it way easier. So if I just buy into this, I'll hit that list and I'm good to go. So ironically, I guess, when I actually got to the point, which I decided to wait a little longer, when I got to the point to contact those stores, the stores in your list aren't really a good match for me. One, just about no stores ever carry belts, so I'm learning that, but they weren't really the right target market for me. But I have found so much else in startup fashion that was rewarding that I was just like, who cares about those stores? Like, that's not even a thing. Like, it's just such a great font of information that it's been a massive help.
Awesome. I love hearing that. Did you have any hesitation about the investment before you joined?
For sure. For sure. I mean, I'm working on a totally, shoestring budget, and it's my own. So, I'm trying to cut corners and save costs anywhere I can. So, it was a little daunting, again, knowing zero about fashion and zero about any kind of fashion business, to just be like, I don't know, this sounds cool. Would this be good for me? I don't know. So, but I think the thing that you did that was brilliant was offer a month to month or an annual subscription. So what I did was came in for a month because that was really inexpensive and I could justify that, especially if it gave me that list of stores. And after about 2 days, I joined for a month, and after about 2 days, like I'm an information junkie, so I just read everything I could on your site, and after that, I was just hooked. I was just like, this is going to be so valuable for me. So I changed my subscription to an annual, and have no regrets. It's been worth it would be worth 3 times as much to me, honestly.
Thank you.
Don't change the price though, because
Yes. All the members would be like, "This is Laura's fault." No, I'm just kidding. No, I would never do that. So tell me about, you touched on this a bit, where you were right before you joined, and have you seen what shift you've seen in your business since you've joined?
Sure. Well, where I was right before I joined, so I had only, if I joined in the fourth quarter, I had only actively started even thinking about this being a business in January last year. So I'm very much at the ground level. So I had found a company that gave me PR advice. So I'd started soliciting or starting promoting to magazines, pitching magazines and stuff. But I wasn't even a legal business. I didn't know, I had a name, I had a rudimentary logo, but I didn't know anything about branding. And I was just kind of all over the map without any sort of path to go on. Like I just kind of was shooting by the hip from stuff I'd heard, or so I think where I'm at now. So the mouse, I'll change. I'm going to sidetrack that question a little bit too. The first most valuable thing I found on Startup Fashion was your start here. What stage is your business in? And that blew my mind because I thought that I was much further along than I was. And it was super helpful for me to go back through and be like, oh, you know what? You should probably make this a legal business, and you should probably get a bank account, and all just stuff, just like the business stuff. That's not what I like to think about. And it was awesome to me that you not only said these are things you have to achieve to be able to move on into the next phase of your business. And I liked that you broke it down into phases, because that, for me, it's very goal oriented. I want to get to the next phase of my business, so I wanted to check all those boxes. But at least as valuable as that was that for every one of those boxes to check, you have backup worksheets and information and help to teach me how to check that box, teach me how to achieve that thing. And so the difference between where I was then and where I am now, you don't see it so much in the everyday, but in the back end, I have all the things. I'm legitimately a startup company. I got past the idea stage. I checked all the boxes, and I really did it. And now I feel comfortable in that. I'm even checking boxes off in the startup phase. So I found my production. I've got my design line. I have reached out to several stores. I'm actually in a store in Denver, which is where I am right now, which was a big coup for me. My belts have been featured in several smaller magazines. I think the biggest one recently was a circulation of about 500,000 people. So that's gaining traction. I think I've sold last year. I made close to my goal. I wanted to sell 50 belts, I'm starting small, and I think I sold 45. So I had sold maybe 2 by the beginning of last year, and at the end, so getting involved in Startup Fashion and getting my ducks in a row, like the majority of my sales were the final quarter of last year. So I guess I would just say, nutshell. I'm just much more organized. I'm a real business. I feel like a big girl. Like I feel like I know what I need to do and what steps I need to take, and it's up to me to take as long as I want to do those things. But I know what I need to do, and that is so confidence building. I can't even believe it.
Oh, thank you for saying all of that. It makes me really happy to hear it, because that's the goal of what we're doing, right? Like,
I'm nearly as happy as it makes me to be able to say. Oh,
awesome. So I know that you're a big fan of the workbooks, and you've kind of alluded to that in this. Which one is your favorite?
Well, so like I said, the first one, I don't even know if you call it a workbook, but what phase is your business in? That was, that really got everything together for me. And then I would think the one after that I've really poured into a lot is the branding. I can't remember what you call it. That was immensely helpful, because I knew I needed to do it, but who knows how to do that stuff?
Yeah,
really, I had zero idea. And so all of your workbook, all of your questions about personality and even just I think your questions about If your brand were a drink, what kind of drink would it be? If your brand were a car, what kind of, and not only was that super fun to think about, but by the end, like I could hand that to people I knew and they were like, oh, your brand is rad. Like, yeah. I totally get it. I want to hang out with your brand. It's just like, I want to hang out with my brand. But I think that really helped a lot. And so from that, I revised my logo and I revised the look of my website and my packaging and the whole deal. And now I had as a graphic designer in the past, I can make it all look good and I can make it visually coherent, but I've never had what's you're creating personality behind it? What is that personality? Now how do you create a coherent package that helps represent that personality? And so that was the part I needed a lot.
Awesome.
So I think that's been
that's so good to hear because it's such a foundation, it's such an important part. So, and it's a part that's often skipped. So I'm happy to hear that was helpful. So Thanks. I guess my last question is just, was there anything that surprised you when you became a member, or anything that's like just your favorite aspect of being a member that you'd like to share?
For sure. And I would imagine that this is probably a common answer. I would say the community. I'm working from home. I moved to a new city. I moved to Denver from LA a year ago. I don't have any friends here. I'm working from home all by myself in a field that I don't know anything about. So you can get easily kind of lost in that. So I think the part that I didn't really see coming that has been super valuable to me has been your community, like the Facebook community and you yourself responding to questions. I love how much people share. I love not only that, like they're actually sharing useful information, but even just love and support. Like, hey, I'm having a really bad day. Someone telling me this is worth it. That's cool. And again, coming from the tech world, it's been pretty heavily male dominated my whole career. And so and that's been the way since I left school. So I don't think I knew what I was lacking. So part of what I'm liking about this is also, no offense to the dudes in the audience, because they're more than welcome, but like how supportive a group that is predominantly women who are trying to get something off the ground themselves can be. I don't feel a sense of competition. What I'm doing so far, I don't think there's another one in the group, so that probably helps. But I don't feel, even with the people who have similar products, I don't feel a sense of competition so much as camaraderie. And that has been a surprise, that I wanted it, that it was there, and how much I like it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Laura. This was wonderful. And it's been so much fun to watch your brand and your business over these past several months grow. And so thanks for taking the time to do this.
Oh, you bet. Thank you. And, anything I can do to help, because you are giving me everything I need. So thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.